So the first part of it is the characteristics of service businesses. So in your examples, if you have any question related to a service business, I think these attributes will be helpful for us to elaborate on the question and then answer the question according to the attributes, according to the characteristics of service business. The second question is about evaluate the current strategic performance report. So there is already a report which is prepared in Appendix 1. So we have to evaluate that. So this is one professional skill, which we will be focusing on, evaluating some report which was already prepared. Whether it is appropriate or not is what we will be looking into. The third one focuses on balance scorecard. So this topic also will be covered in this particular question, balance scorecard. The next one is also about balance scorecard. So balance scorecard has 12 plus 7, 19 marks are allotted here. Then we see explain the purpose of setting targets which are challenging and evaluate the standards and rewards for the hotel manager's performance reward system. So there is something to talk about the reward system. So there is a model also which is discussed in the case study regarding the reward system. So performance evaluation, and that evaluation connected to the reward system. So that's what we will be looking into. So performance reward system as requested by the CEO, and then professional marks carry 4 marks. So we see that it's just not one topic like we have done some of the topics wherein if it is benchmarking, it was all about benchmarking. So that was a 25 marks question. This is a 50 marks. Here we see that it's just not about one topic, 2-3 topics are included. So if we answer this one, I think it will be helpful for us to understand how to attempt 50 marks case study question. Okay, so let's read what is the content that's given in this particular case study. The question goes like this: Kolmog Hotels is a large listed chain of branded hotels in Ostland. Its stated mission is to become the number one hotel chain in Ostland. Building the strength of the Kolmog brand by consistently delighting the customers. So focus is on customers, investing in employees, taking care of the employees, delivering innovative products and services, and continuously improving performance. So generally, when we look at profit-seeking organizations, the primary objective will be about profit maximizing. But here, when they have mentioned their objective, the objective is their mission is to become the number one hotel. But is it in terms of financial aspect that they want to become number one hotel, that they make the maximum amount of profit? No, there are certain other aspects which are given primary importance about delighting the customers, taking care of the employees, providing innovative products and services, and then continuous performance. And the subsidiary aim of the company are to maximize shareholder value. Okay, generally it would be the other way around. Primary would be profit maximization, or then it is just not about profit but also taking care of the other stakeholders. Here it is the other way around. We see that looking at the benefit of other beneficiaries is their primary objective. Secondary objective is maximizing shareholders wealth. Create a culture of pride in the brand and strengthen the brand loyalty of all the stakeholders. So if this has to register in our mind as we talk about other aspects, as we discuss about it, any question when whatever you read through, first make a note of what is their objective. So that helps us in to a great extent. See, the content that is given in the case study, is it going on lines with the objective or not, is one idea we get the minute we note down about what is the objective. Any question, So that has to register in our mind. Then that will help us while we attempt to answer the other requirements of the case study. Then we see the hotels in the Kolmog chain include a diverse range of buildings and locations serving different customer groups. Different customer groups, large conference venues, city center business hotels, and country hotels. So these are three different things. There are three different categories of services that they are providing. So there are different customer groups. Large conference venues for business purposes. So city center business hotels exclusive for business um, to serve the business groups, and country house hotels for holidays. So these are three different categories to which they are serving, providing their services. For reporting purposes, the company has divided itself into 4 geographical regions of Ausland, as can be seen in recent example of the strategic performance report for the company used by the board for their annual review given in Appendix 1. At the operational level, each hotel manager is given an individual budget for their hotel prepared in the finance department and is judged by performance against budgeted profit. Kolmog is planning a strategic change to its current business model. The board has decided to sell many of the hotels in the chain and then rent them back. Okay, so there is a mention about their business model. It is planning a strategic change to its current business model. Now, see, whatever hotels they were owning, so they want to sell many of the hotels and take them back on rent. So management will be with them, but ownership is not going to be with them. So that's the strategy what they are following. This is consistent with many other hotel companies who are focusing on the management of their hotels rather than managing a large property portfolio of hotels. Now, in order to assess this strategic change, the CEO is considering introducing the balanced scorecard across Kolmog. I will also talk about what is balance scorecard. So quickly, if we look into that balance scorecard, I think 1 second. When we search for a slide, it doesn't. I mean, I will also explain what is balance scorecard. But first, let me read through the content. After that, I will first explain to you, because many were not there, so I'm not sure whether you remember or you know about what is balance scorecard or not. So I will quickly explain that, and then we can proceed further. So the CEO is considering introducing the balance scorecard across Kolmog. He has tasked you as a management accountant. So what is your role? Your role is you are the management accountant in Kolmog Hotels. So that's your role. So you are answering this particular question in the capacity of management accountant of Kolmog Hotels, with reviewing the preliminary work done on the development of the scorecard in order to ensure that it is consistent with the goal of meeting the strategic objectives of the company by tying operational and strategic performance measurements into a coherent framework. The CEO is worried that the balance scorecard might be perceived within the organization as a management accounting technique. Theoretically, see, there are so many models, whether they are applicable or not. Of course, that's a different research which is going on. How many of them actually follow this? Theoretically, see, there are many models which are suggested for the organizations to follow so that the performance can be measured or improvements can be brought about, etc. So there are many things. Of course, we've read through, we've learned in APM. Not only in APM, there are other papers also wherein there are many models which are suggested for organizations to follow. But how far are they followed or not is it's the latest thing which is going on. See, is it feasible to follow them? That's another question. Theoretically, in ideal situations, they are the best models to which can be followed. But practically, is it happening or not is a different thing. So now here, maybe it is not on that note, at that critical note, we are taking it up. But within, again, here, I mean, there is a view expressed by CEO that maybe this balance scorecard thing is only a management accounting technique that has been derived from the manufacturing sector. In order to assess its use at Kolmog, he has asked you to explain the characteristics that differentiate service businesses from manufacturing ones. Senior executives at the head office at Kolmog have drawn up a preliminary list of perspectives and metrics as an outline of the balance scorecard. So we see that there is already a balance scorecard that is prepared. See, there are key strategic perspectives, strategic financial performance, customer satisfaction. See, on this note, at this point of time, let's just understand what is balance scorecard very quickly. Those who were present there on the day this topic was done, I think it is a revision for you. Those who were not there, please have a look at that. The balance scorecard is part of the topic performance measurement. See, performance measurement in profit organizations, not for profit organizations. What are the various variables that are used, tools that are used to measure the performance? So, in that, under that particular topic, there is one model which talks about measuring the performance. So, balance scorecard is used for the purpose of performance measurement. Now, performance measurement of an organization. If the organization is small in size, it's easy to measure. There would be no problem. But if the organization size is big, there are many departments, divisions, functions. See, they are present in multiple locations geographically. They are present in multiple locations, and then measuring the performance of the entire organization is not a simple task. In that case, it is suggested that the performance measurement should be taken up by looking at the organization from 4 different perspectives. So there are 4 perspectives that are mentioned. The first one is financial perspective. Then the other 3 are all non-financial. The second one is focused on customer. Third is about the way they carry out the business activities, internal business activities. And the fourth one is about the employees, which is learning and growth. So what is suggested in this model is, under each of these perspectives, there are critical success factors, CSFs, that have to be identified. Those factors which help in the organization achieving the success, critical success factors. So identify the factors under each of these perspectives as critical success factors. It's just not about identifying what factors could be critical, but then again, these factors have to be measured by using key performance indicators. Now, briefly, if we discuss about what could be CSFs under each of these categories. If it is financial, to all profitability variables, profit margins, etc. Sales is one variable, cost cutting is one variable. Then we see the performance of the shares in the stock market is one variable. Likewise, anything which is connected to the financial aspect, those factors, if they do well, it can result in success of the organization. So Those are CSFs under financial perspective. And then we have to also identify what are CSFs under customer. So customer satisfaction is one thing. So customization to the customer, innovation to the customer. Likewise, so some of the variables can be identified under customer perspective. Internal business process, their productivity, flexibility, internal working conditions, the safety measures, um, the quality production, so that there are no defective units produced, etc. So some of them are we can identify them as CSFs under internal business process. Employees, if we are looking at employees, employee skill development, employee satisfaction. So employee skill development has to be looked at. Um, then any kind of measures that are taken. See, what is the performance of employees or employees innovation, I mean their activity in contributing towards innovation uh, in the organizations. Those are CSFs. We can identify CSFs under each of them. The list is quite elaborate. All CSFs may not be applicable to all industries, so in industry specific also we can identify. Mere defining what are CSFs is not sufficient. They have to be measured with the help of KPIs. So if we talk about sales, for example, whether sales, there is any growth in sales over a period of time. If we talk about profitability, is there any improvement in the profitability? Likewise, each one has to be measured with a suitable KPI. Customer satisfaction, if we talk about it as a CSF, then measurement is, are they satisfied? How would we measure? Was there a feedback taken, and what is the customer satisfaction score? Productivity improvement and productivity quality. If we talk about quality, is there any decrease in the number of defective units produced? Then flexibility, when would they deliver the produce and deliver the goods to the customers? Customization according to the requirement. Safety measures, uh, are they any accidents which have taken place or something like that? So post accident, if at all, if after taking all possible measures also accidents are there, what I mean, is there an insurance coverage? If there is an insurance coverage, what is the status about the insurance claims? I mean, those are the ways in which the measurement would take place. Employees satisfaction, if we talk about, our employee skill enhancement. See, employee skill enhancement, are there training sessions, workshops conducted? Was their skill improved? What's the attendance during those training sessions? So feedback, if you look at the satisfaction part of it, was there any feedback collected from the employees, etc. So those are the ways in which the balance scorecard has to be understood. So we look into the balance score, the performance measurement with the help of balance scorecard, as look at the organization from 4 different perspectives, identify what are the CSFs under each of these perspectives, and use KPIs to measure the CSFs. Okay, so that is what is about balance scorecard. So here also we have something about balance scorecard, um, which they have already prepared. See, it is not about me preparing, but the opinion of the CEO says that, see, he looks at this as, is it only as a management accounting technique that they are following the balance scorecard, or is there any other purpose behind that? So that from that aspect we have to look into that. So once we have this concept clear in our mind about what is balance scorecard, then let's look at what did they prepare. So there is a table prepared. There is a table where it has 4 different perspectives that are given. Under the strategic financial perspective, they talk about financial performance benchmark to Kolmog's main competitors. So how are they measuring the financial performance? They are measuring by way of benchmarking, benchmarked to Kolmog's main competitor. So the variables that are used are share price and return on capital employed. Then The measurement is by way of these variables. So that's the point here. If it is satisfaction, they're looking at the satisfaction service scores. If it is hotel performance against internal business process, so they are looking at variance analysis of each hotel. If it is employee satisfaction, they are measuring by way of staff turnover. Okay. Then when we proceed further, the history of rewards at Kolmog has not been good. So there is something, see, there's one expectation given in the question is about the performance reward system. There was one requirement. So the next part of it is about the reward system. The history of rewards at Kolmog has not been good, with only 1% of staff receiving their maximum possible bonus in previous year and 75% of staff receiving no bonus. This has led to many complaints that targets set for the reward system are too challenging. Under a new performance reward system, employee targets are to be derived from the above balance scorecard strategic measures depending on the employee's area of responsibility. The new system is for hotel managers to be given challenging targets based on their hotel's performance against budgeted profit, industry-wide staff turnover, and the company's average customer satisfaction scores. The new system is for hotel managers to be given challenging targets based on their hotel's performance against budgeted profit, industry-wide staff turnover, and company's average customer satisfaction scores. The hotel managers will then get up to 30% of their basic salary as bonus based on their regional managers' assessment of their performance against these targets. The CEO wants you to use a specific model, Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model. That also I will explain. But right now, let's not get into this aspect of reward system, because reward system, we can look into that after we discuss the questions about there are appendix, there's some performance report given. So there are requirements here about, first we need to discuss about the characteristics of service business, differentiating that from manufacturing business, evaluating about the strategic performance, certain other things are there, and the reward system is the fifth requirement. So straight away, let's start answering this question. When we come to fifth bit, then at that time we will discuss about what is this Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model, what is the reward system, what requirements should be there, etc. So what I'll do is, first we'll take this question, copy it into Excel worksheet. And then okay, now so the question is there in Excel file. Let's answer this question. The first question, the first requirement is we need to differentiate the service business from manufacturing business. I don't know whether you were there when this particular topic was done. Let's quickly look at that. What are the There are 5 points under what are the characteristics of service industry. Very quickly, let's just remember this. The first one is services are intangible, unlike the products which are tangible, which they have a form, shape, they can be seen. Services are not so. Let's say there is a medical professional, he provides services which is not tangible. There is no physical form of what services he provides. There's a chartered accountant providing some tax services or audit services, etc. We don't see the physical form of the services. There is a transport business carrying the passengers of goods from one place to another place. So we don't see the physical form of it. Okay, the mode which is there is the vehicle, we can see that, but the service of the people or the goods being carried from one place to another place, that's the service that is provided. Okay, they cannot carry that with them. See, like a product. The product can has a physical form, shape, etc. Service does not have. So first thing is services are intangible. The second one is it is customized. Basically, it is not a standard thing which is provided to everybody, but it goes according to the requirement of the customer. So the customer or the client. So because see, each one of them has a different requirement, then the services are also provided accordingly. The output differs due to the high level of human intervention. So it's basically customized. That is heterogeneity. It is products are standardized. See, the same type of product is provided to every customer. So they are homogeneous. The products are standardized. But in case of service industry, it is mostly about providing what service they want according to their requirement. Then the third one is about simultaneity. As the service is produced, simultaneously it has also to be consumed. Okay, production and consumption should happen at the same time. Products, it's not so. It is purchased today, it can be consumed 1 month later also, but that's not the case with service industry. Simultaneously they have to be consumed as it is being produced. Why? Because the fourth attribute is, see, that they have this attribute of perishability. So they perish if it is not consumed today, it cannot be consumed in the future. Example, let's say, because this is Kolmog hotels, so hotel industry, if there is accommodation provided as on today, September 10, September 10. So September 10, if there is a accommodation facility available for the customers to use it. So if they use it, they use it. If they do not use it, the accommodation or the hotel accommodation would be vacant. It cannot be used on September 11th. So September 11th will have September 11th the service of providing accommodation. This unused, unvacant, vacant hotel accommodation cannot be carried forward. The unused facility of September 10th cannot be carried forward to September 11th, add it to September 11th availability and use it. It doesn't happen. See, as it is produced, it has to be consumed simultaneously. If it is not so, it perishes. The services cannot be carried forward to the future period. Okay, so there is a perishability. Since it cannot be carried to the future period, so then there is no concept of no transfer of ownership. So we need to talk about that. Customers can use the service for a limited time period only. During that period when it is being produced, it cannot be carried forward to the future period. Therefore, there is no concept of transfer of ownership also. These are the 5 attributes. Now, the question, when we talk about this particular case study, first requirement is we are asked to talk about, explain the characteristics that differentiate service businesses from manufacturing ones using Kolmog to illustrate your point. So stick to hotel industry, Kolmog hotels. With reference to hotel industry, you need to explain that. Okay, so there are 5 attributes. Intangibility. So you talk about what is intangibility. You say that the services that are provided by Kolmog hotels are not tangible. It provides service of providing accommodation to different categories of customers to use their accommodation. The service of providing accommodation, the customers can use them and be benefited, but as such we cannot see a physical form of providing that service. So you talk about that way. The second one, the second attribute, the second attribute here is about heterogeneity. It is a so heterogeneity is providing different services to different customers depending on the requirement. That's the point here. You should talk about see, all of them cannot be provided a standardized service. Some of them may require the accommodation for 1 day, some of them may require for a longer period of time, 1 week. Okay, there are different categories of customers also that we have noted down. There are different customer groups, large providing large conference venues to them. City center business hotels are there, and then country house hotels are there. So see, there are no standard services as such. They are all different service, different kind of service provided to different customer groups. They also have categorized 3 different customer groups, and to them, according to their requirement, the services are provided. So these services are basically heterogeneous in nature. So refer to Kolmog. So just don't talk about these attributes in a generic sense, because the question very clearly talks about illustrate using Kolmog hotels as an example. So that is what has to be done. So explain that, but explain that with reference to Kolmog hotels. That is what we have to do. Third attribute. Third attribute is simultaneity. See, as it is being produced, it has to be consumed immediately. So, like I was explaining to you, Kolmog hotels, if the hotel services, the accommodation services are provided on a particular date, see, that day it has to be consumed. If it has to be consumed as it is being produced. If it is available, if there is vacancy on a particular date, it has to be used on that particular date only. Okay, so then if it is not used on that date, it perishes. Perishability. Perishability is the next attribute. See, if the facilities are not used, consumed on a particular date, they perish on that day itself. They cannot be carried forward to the future date. All unused services cannot be carried forward to the future date. They use the service or they do not use the service, only that part of it. There is no concept of transfer of ownership. I hope that's clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go to the next requirement, B bit. D bit, okay, this is second bit. Okay, I numbered it wrongly. The second one says that evaluate the current strategic performance report and the choice of performance metrics used. There is appendix 1 given. We have to evaluate. Evaluating skills will be exhibited when you are answering. So this is only describing. The first one was only about explaining. So we are just describing what are the attributes that are applicable here. Okay. Here we need to evaluate or somebody's work. See, we are not asked to do the work, but we are asked to evaluate the current strategic performance report. So there's already a report which is already prepared. And this report, we have to evaluate in the sense that the choice of performance metrics which they have used, are they appropriate or not, is what we have to comment about it. Okay, learn this one. We are not asked to prepare a report. The report preparation is not what is asked in this requirement. In fact, we are asked to evaluate somebody's report. Somebody who has already prepared the report, we are to evaluate that report. Okay, so carefully look at that report. This is Appendix 1, Strategic Performance Report for review. Let's look at that report from I'll put it on the PDF file. This gives a better look at that. Okay, so this is Strategic Performance Report for View, Kolmog Hotels, year to 31st March 2013. We see East region, West region, North, South total. Then we also see that it's just not about, this is all about 2013, 2013. Apart from 2013, geographically, the variables are, the performance report is prepared. Your area wise, geographically it is given. Apart from that, what was the performance in 2012 is also given. And the comparative analysis 2013 as compared to 2012, is there any improvement, is what is given. Then there are certain other things also mentioned below. Then we see the variables that they have mentioned are capital employed percentage is given, EPS is given, share price is given, ROC is given. Individually, I want everybody to look at this. Now we need to talk about because how many 6 students are there in the class? At least 6 different views I want to receive from the students. Is it an appropriate one? Now you are the management accountant of Kolmog Hotels. Okay, you are given a task. We are to talk about the strategic performance report, evaluate whether it is prepared appropriately. The metrics that are used in the strategic performance report, are they appropriate or not, is what we have to talk about it. Any one of you, all of you will be participating in the discussion. So in any order, you can talk about it. How many of you agree that this is an appropriate report? How many of you do not agree? Let's check this one. See, is there any problem? Is it fine? Let's take the response of that. Is it fine? Do you think this is the this is good and no issue with that? It's good. How many of you feel that? So now I'll get to know how many of you are listening to the class. Please participate in the discussion. Is it fine? Is the report fine? Yes. Somebody please respond yes, no.
Ma'am, I think the comparison could have been given to like each of the region, so that like which
Okay,
is
good,
performing
good,
better
good,
and which
good.
is not performing better. We could have understood by that. But overall, if we see that the revenue has been increased.
No, we only have to talk about the report.
And,
We are not
okay.
to talk about the performance.
Okay.
Performance is different. Performance report is different.
Okay.
So
I think
evaluation of the report, whether the metrics
the
are there.
comparative. Yeah.
Very
I
good
think.
point. Very good point, Abhishek. The comparative analysis given as overall comparison is given, but region-wise comparison would have been better. Whether the regions are doing well or not, we would. I mean, it would be possible to know that. Or if any region is not doing well, then that also could have been identified if a comparative analysis region-wise was given. Very good point. Okay. Someone else? Anyone participating, or you're there only for the attendance sake? Afshan, Jaideep, Karthik, Praveen, Sonita in the or list participants list. No effort to even click the mic button also, so which means that they're not there. Okay. Conclude. See, when we started reading through this case study, one important point I told you at the beginning only, that first thing we need to remember what is the objective. See, note down about what is the primary objective, secondary objective of the organization. See, here in case of Kolmog Hotel, what's their primary objective? Primary objective was, the primary objective is definitely not about profit. That's the secondary objective. Wealth maximization to shareholders is their secondary objective. But from the strategy performance report, all what we can observe here is the financial metrics only are included. We don't see anything else in appendix 1 in the strategic performance report that is prepared, which wherein their primary objective, if we run through the primary objective of Kolmog Hotels, it is to cater to the requirements of the customers, employee satisfaction, innovation provided to in terms of products and services, and continuous improvement. These are areas of which are included in their primary objective. But what does the strategic performance report present to us? It presents to us all financial aspects. The financial metrics only are given. Not that they don't want to earn profits. They do want to earn profits. Wealth maximization is also there, but that's a secondary objective. So the report that is prepared is catering to only the financial perspective. It is not looking at the other three perspectives. It is not looking into that. That's the main flaw what we identify. That's why I told you in the beginning only that we first need to make a note of what is the objective, not just in this particular question, but in all questions, whatever we read through that. First, one thing, make a very serious note about what is their objective, primary, secondary, other things. See, if we go with the objective of the organization, this is not an apt one. This is not appropriate because it does not have a mention about the customer aspect, of employees aspect. It does not look into whether innovation was taken up or not. No mention anywhere. That's one thing. Okay. Let's keep writing as we discuss. One very good point Abhishek has given. No comparative analysis provided region wise. Okay, explain that in detail in the examination. Right now, we are just noting down the points in brief, but in the examination, don't write like this one line, half line. Please explain that clearly in your own words. Second point, what we have observed here is, see, the primary objective is customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, innovation, innovation of products and services provided to the customers. Metrics related to the primary objective are not included. It only caters to the financial perspective. Okay, the report maximization of shareholders' wealth is their secondary objective. There is no mention of non-financial performance metrics in the report. Whereas their primary objective is to satisfy customers, employee satisfaction, what is innovation in products and services, and continuous improvement. Please explain that in detail. Then so we can comment about that this is not the appropriate model. It is only partially looking at one perspective. It is not completely including all the other perspectives, all other non-financial perspectives. Whereas, in fact, actually they should have given importance about those perspectives, because the other aspects are their primary objective. Okay, so that is how we need to explain that part of it. Okay, let's again look into this one. Is there any is it appropriate, is it not appropriate, anything worth commenting about? So that also you can look into that, and then once again. Anything else? Other students? Akshan, Jaideep, Karthik, Praveen, Sunita, Abhishek. One more important point what we can observe here is Are all their customers do they belong to the same group, or are they catering to different categories of customers? There
Different.
are different customer groups. Okay. Large conference venues, city center business hotels, and country house hotels for holidays. They have categorized them into 3 different customer groups. So the services that are provided are also different. So if they are, for the purpose of reporting, they have prepared the reports based on 4 geographical regions for reporting purposes. See, reporting purposes is an external requirement which they are catering to. There's a statutory requirement about reporting the financial performance. Okay, that we can understand. They want to report it in terms of region wise. That also is perfectly fine. But then, uh, performance reports, performance evaluation is an internal activity. See, how are they performing is what they have to look into. So, if there are 3 different customer groups, so the performance of each of these services, like how are large conference venues doing, city center business hotels, and then country house hotels, what is their performance also has to be noted down. That is what is most important here, what we have to look into. But the performance report failed to provide that also. We can talk about that also as one important point. If that was done, then which type of service or which type of hotels are doing well, relatively, or if there is any measures about improving any type of business, that would have been understood. So, but here they have only stick to one aspect of it about providing region wise the performance, but not um, category wise services that are provided. So that we can talk about it as one more issue. Once again look into this one and then talk about anything else. So when you talk about this is only financial as perspective which is included. In fact, they should have included other areas. So other areas you need to talk about what else should have been included. Um, those aspects you need to talk about. That part of it have to be clear. So here what they have done, the variables that are used are capital employed. How much is the capital employed? There is an increase in capital employed. The earnings per share available also there is growth. The share price also there is improvement. Return on capital employed also we see that return on capital employed in 2012 it is 14.18 and then now it is 14.49. That is also very good. So there is an improvement. We are not talking about the performance. Whether the performance of Kolmog is good or not is not what we are talking about. See, when we look into the metrics, they are anyway. Overall, we commented that only financial metrics are used. after we talk about that, then again the report also is focusing only on not all of them, but only few of them, few of the financial variables. The financial variables here, what we look into are the amount of capital employed, the amount of return on capital employed. So that's all what is given. Return is profit, profit available, profit earned on the amount of capital employed. See, we see that revenue is there, cost of sales is there, profits are there, staff costs, operating costs, um, then operating profits are there. The operating profits are also increasing. Then we have these variables calculated. If we talk about because if this is how many marks, so lot of marks are allotted to this.
Ma'am, I have one question here, ma'am.
Yes,
In actually question, I just saw one word like there has been the properties has been sold and rented back.
that is a strategy which they are following. One
In
second,
like
1 second. I'll take a call and then I'll get back to you. 1 second.
rented back.
Yeah, we will be talking about that, but that is not included. See, their strategy is about selling their own hotels. They don't want to maintain the assets. The maintaining large property portfolio of the assets. That is what they don't want to focus on that, because that requires some efforts. That is asset management, security of the assets, the safeguarding of the assets, etc. Focus will be more on that if they own the property. Now they want to only have the management part of it, so therefore they don't. But that aspect is not part of the strategic reporting purpose. They have presented this report.
Yeah, actually, yeah, ma'am. The strategy is being followed for the present year, or from beginning it's there, ma'am. Because
Off late, see, they off late they have decided on that, no? So that's what it's given here.
yeah, because I don't see like any major changes in the
Change to
financial.
its current business model. So now this is a recent development, and that is what is being followed in the industry also by the other hotel companies. It's planning to a strategic change. So it's a recent development, and which is the trend in the that particular industry also. This is consistent with many other hotel companies who are focusing on the management.
Yeah, because like when I see when they rent back, the operating cost will be increased, no, ma'am.
Huh,
Because I don't see any like major change in operating cost, so that's
that's
why I got that out.
very good point. In fact, actually, when we are looking into that operating cost, in this case, the owning that and operating that, so there's a difference here in 1 second. One So when they are operating, less amount of more amount of variable cost should be there, less amount of fixed cost should be there. See if generally also the relationship between variable cost and fixed cost. The fixed cost will remain fixed uh, till they reach their maximum capacity. It is incurred right at the beginning and then it's the same thing. But until the fixed cost is absorbed, there is no amount of profit that can be earned. So higher amount of fixed cost, if it is there, break even point happens very late. Until they reach the break even point, um, they cannot compete with other firms. Very effectively. See, they cannot, they would not have many choices in terms of reducing the selling price, etc. Because first they have to touch that break-even point. So, what's the proportion of variable cost and fixed cost is also one very, very important aspect. Once the fixed cost is absorbed, then the after beyond that, the profit margin will be selling price minus only the variable cost. So, if less amount of variable cost, more amount of fixed cost is there, beyond the break-even point, the profits will be very attractive because only very less amount of variable cost deducted from the revenue, profits will be attractive. But they have to wait for a longer period of time till they reach the break-even point. Then, if it is the other way around, see, they may reach the break-even point early, but the profit margins are because higher proportion of variable cost is there, so their profit margins are not very attractive. So there could be one mention about the proportion of variable cost and fixed cost also. If it would have been given here, expressed here, a better analysis could have been there. So that is a minor thing, but the major points we have covered from the report. When they have mentioned about the operating cost, they could have mentioned about what is the variable component of the operating cost, fixed component of the operating cost. Okay, that also can be included. Um, but other than that, we don't see that. Anyway, we've discussed that these are all financial metrics. They could have included what is the customer satisfaction score, employee satisfaction, feedback from them. They could have mentioned about the productivity, the efficient, the quality, because they are looking at continuous improvement. So that continuous improvement talks about reduction in the defective units. Likewise, other metrics also should have been included. That we talk about it. Other than that, the rest of it is all fine. We have you have given that comparative geographical analysis would have been better. Then one important thing is customer wise the performance analysis given also would have been better. So we can talk about okay, the operating cost. As much as you can explain, that would be better. That would give a clear view about to what extent you understand about how to evaluate and then what flaws which are there. See, this is an 8 marks question. See, each point, even if you present it, each point can carry two marks. So that way also, you can score marks. So that is about, don't get into the performance part of it. So there's a clear cut difference between evaluating the performance, whether Kolmog is doing well or not is different, whether the report is good or not is different. The comment is about the report, not on the performance. Okay. Third bit, evaluate the outline balance scorecard at Kolmog, suggesting suitable improvement. Already there is a balance scorecard which is prepared. There is a table that is prepared, 4 metrics and 4 perspectives, and for each perspective, metrics are given. Are they suitable or not? If they are not suitable, what else could be suggested? That is what has to be understood. Coming to strategy, the financial perspective. Financial perspective, under that, we have the metrics given. The metrics talk about financial performance benchmark to Kolmog's main competitors. So benchmarking activities what they are following. For that also they are using share price and return on capital employed. See, is it suitable? Are these there are many things under financial perspective, starting from revenue generated, profit earned, then liquidity, activity, every aspect of it, share performance in this stock market. Um, Multiple things are there. The capital structure, debt and equity composition, etc. Multiple things are there, but here Kolmog is using only two variables. One is share price, and the next one is return on capital employed. So we are asked to comment about are they appropriate, or any suggestion to improve that also can be commented, suggesting suitable improvements. Then they are looking at customer satisfaction service scores. For the internal business process, they're looking at variance analysis of each hotel. For employee satisfaction, staff turnover. We'll write it next. Later on, I can drag up the I'll drag it and paste it there, because the table is here. I will write it here. So if this is the third one, if you talk about financial perspective, what is their objective about financial perspective? To maximize the shareholders' wealth. Maximization of shareholders' wealth is share price is given, whether there is any shareholder improvement in share price, and return on capital employed, as much as the capital that is invested, the profit that is available. So the metrics that are used are appropriate, because secondary objective is the maximization of shareholders' wealth. So that is appropriate. There's no problem. But if at all, if we have to see share price and ROCE, we can talk about them as are appropriate. Improvements, if we talk about what improvements can be included, what else can be included? Generally, we need to talk about straight away coming to ROC. We can start right from what is their sales growth. We can talk about the operating profit. See, those things also can be talked about. Then we are only talking about what is the share price, but then we should look at what is the earnings available per share. That is also very important. EPS could have been given, revenue part, operating expenses part of it. Like in the previous thing, we have mentioned that variable operating expenses, fixed operating expenses, these things could be included. So that can be mentioned. See, details about cost is important. Details about cost is important, because at any stage, if costs are spent too much, cost control measures can be taken. See, finally, looking at the return that is available on capital employed is not the only way to measure the financial performance. Financial performance is about whether there was any improvement in revenue, whether there was any improvement in cost cutting also is important, because there are different categories of customers and services that are provided. So I think if at all, if one unit is not doing well, one segment is not doing well, maybe overspending is there in that. See, it may ultimately get covered in the overall profit, but the inefficiency of one unit will never be identified. Therefore, better ways are revenue improvement, cost cutting improvement also should have been. So suggestions can be given. So revenue growth, and cost control measures could be included. Then we can talk about what is the earnings per share, what earnings are available ultimately. See, share price reflection is see, the amount of profits that are earned, um, that will reflect in the stock market. That's one thing. But stock market also reflects not only on the internal performance, but sometimes some external variables are also there which can have an impact on the share price. Sometimes the stock market, um, the psychology that is prevailing as at that point of time, the way the stock markets react to external information which is received. So those things also do have an impact on the share price. It's just not always on the internal performance of the business. So what amount of profits were actually earned, EPS is not included. So EPS could have been included. So EPS is one thing which can be included. I think we've talked about these things. Then customer satisfaction. So for satisfaction, what's appropriate is satisfaction score is appropriate. So if they are satisfied, fine, it can be known. But what, see, 100% no one would be satisfied. So one aspect of it is satisfaction score is calculated. So satisfaction score is from the feedback forms that are taken up, collected from them. What if they are not satisfied? What can be done? So there are redressal forums which look into the areas where the customers are dissatisfied. So how are they addressed? That is again one important aspect of customer perspective. It's just not circulate a questionnaire, then generate that and then circulate it among them and then collect the feedback and then calculate the score and then be happy about that. No, it has to be the areas where they are not satisfied, they have to be addressed. The satisfaction score is perfect. Okay. But suggestions, improvements are but then when we talk about improvements, so customer so something about redressal forums and then how what actions are taken up in the redressal customer complaint redressal forums or whatever is that. So that if it is included, that would have been better, because see, it is very important, because it's a service industry. Service industry, one of the attributes is it is heterogeneity. Each one have each of their customers or clients have a different requirement altogether. So whether the hotel Kolmog hotels, this group of hotels, are they catering to the customers according to their requirement? That is very, very important. Okay, it is not that it is a standardized service which is provided to everyone. Services are never standardized, they are not homogeneous, they are heterogeneous. So therefore, catering to their requirements is very important. Accordingly, are they addressed? If at all, if there is any dissatisfaction from any of them, whether those dissatisfactions or those complaints, those issues are addressed properly or not, is important. So that's another area which you will talk about. Okay, anything about maybe they can also talk, because one of the aspects is about we can write it there under hotel performance. Innovation is one thing which is given, so we can talk about that under hotel performance against budget. Third category is internal business performance. So internal business process is given as hotel performance against budget. See, they want to measure the internal business performance as against a budget that is prepared. Budget defines about what has to be taken up in the future, and they just want to measure the performance based on whether they have met the budget standards or not. So variance analysis for each hotel is given. But suggestions wise, already we have mentioned that they have not included category wise different categories of services which they are providing to different customer groups. So if it would have, if it is in that particular manner, the budgets for each category of hotels and the variance analysis, so that would be a more suitable. So strategic report, they fail to include the different customer groups and the report on that. So now that has to be addressed. So that could be a suggestion. So customer group wise, if budgets are prepared, then it would be. The last one is employee satisfaction. Employee satisfaction is staff turnover. This is a very critical thing, crucial point here, what we need to discuss. Staff turnover, there's so much to mention about staff turnover also. There's so big paragraph given about staff turnover. So let's look into that. The history of rewards at Kolmog has not been good, but with only 1% of staff receiving their marks. This is about reward system. But staff turnover, when there is a change in the employment on account of employees being replaced, they leaving the organization, new people are hired, they are replaced. So on account of all these things, when there is a change in the employment, situations status, then that's called as turnover. So that's also quantitatively it is calculated as a percentage also. Can we take staff turnover to be the criteria about whether the employees are satisfied or not? See, turnover is basically industry specific. In some of the industries we see that high turnover would be there, like software industry. The turnover is very high. Some conventional industries like education industry, um, then hotel in hospitals, see those industries, we do not see the turnover being very high. See, generally when they join an organization, most of the time we see that they do retire from the same organization. In certain industries like education, people who join as a teachers or faculty of particular organization, conventionally we see that they are there with that organization for a very long time. See, but then software industry, see, wherein we see that there are technologically many changes happening in certain industries. There also we see that the turnover is quite high. See, people are looked down if they are with a particular organization for a very long time in those kind of industries. See, um, if they change the job, it is an indication that they have upgraded their skills. Therefore, they were looking out for a new opportunity and they've joined a new organization. So it is that is how it is looked at in certain industries. In certain industries, they are quite consistent with their particular job. They do not think about changing. See, for them, performing that role in that capacity consistently for a longer period of time, it is important for them. What is the scenario in hotel industry is not mentioned. What is happening in that particular country in hotel industry, we do not know. Can we talk about the staff turnover? Maybe because they don't change jobs in that particular country in the hotel industry. But is it an appropriate one? It is a big question mark there. We cannot judge about it whether it is appropriate or not just based on staff turnover. They maybe improvement wise a feedback could be taken from them. See, employee feedback. The issue is always about whether their identity is I mean, it would be revealed or it is hidden. So that's another thing. See, generally, when feedback is collected from employees, they are hesitant about sharing their feedback because of the fear that their identity would be revealed. Therefore, maybe whistleblowing can be encouraged, hotlines can be arranged wherein they share the feedback, but their identity is not revealed. So, such kind of measures can be uh, discussed or talked about in terms of collecting feedback. But feedback should have been collected here. See, feedback should have been collected, that based on that they can talk about whether the employees were satisfied or not. The employees, because they are also thinking about providing innovative products and services. So, with respect to that, is there any kind of training provided to the employees? So that is also one important aspect. They should have been considered, but that was not there. So, in terms of uh, staff turnover, depends on type of industry. We cannot very clearly state that staff turnover will decide about whether they're satisfied or not. See, see, conventional jobs like, see, a teacher joins a school and she or he is there um, till the retirement. It is not that the teacher was never dissatisfied. That, see, now the times have changed. Therefore, we see faculties also are changing organizations. There are different parameters for them to change the organization. That's a different thing. But generally, what we observe, see, if they are there with an organization, it does not indicate that they are 100% satisfied. There may be issues, but there are other parameters which also are important for them. Therefore, they continue. Maybe the job is very attractive, job satisfaction is very high. Teaching the students is more important for them, other than looking at the financial benefits, etc. So that way we can talk about it. So it all depends on the type of industry, staff turnover. So we cannot take that to be as the best parameter, performance metric. Then improvements could be about a feedback is appropriate. Feedback can be collected. Training to the employees. And performance post training sessions. Included. So those things will talk about whether they are actually satisfied or not. Okay, so that is how many marks? 12 marks. So four perspectives are there. Each one will carry 3 marks. You talk about whether it is appropriate or not. 2 marks for some suggestions which you talk about. So which means that you have a clear idea about what could be the performance metrics which can be used. Okay. I hope it is clear. So 4 points, 4 into 3, 12 marks you can score. So each one will carry, say on an average, we can take about 3 marks. So each perspective you address, you score 3 marks. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll take a break for 5 minutes. Then we'll resume back after 5 minutes and complete the other things.
Okay, ma'am.
The next one is fourth one. Describe the difficulties in implementing and using the balanced scorecard at Kolmog. See, difficulties in implementing. The balanced scorecard is a very easy manner. See, if we talk about the advantages, easy way to measure the performance because they are looked at different perspectives and then choose the CSFs and then measure them using KPIs. So performance measurement becomes easier. But then there are difficulties also. The difficulties are about first and foremost is the many CSFs can be identified under each perspective, just not one or two. There are many. Then among them, which ones are most suitable to that particular industry, that particular business is very important. That the identifying because the question also the previous question was about asking us to give suggestions about what improvements can be brought about in terms of using the metrics, which means that deciding on what are the suitable performance metrics in itself is a big task there. That is very important what we need to look into. Okay. That's one problem there, but that's one difficulty there. Selection of suitable metrics, that is one difficulty. The financial anyway, the financial statements have all the values in terms of numericals. So the quantitative values are given. Measurement is very easy. So to some extent, see, we can talk about customer satisfaction. Also, satisfaction score is there. Other areas like we talk about quality work. So quality work, how do we define? See, which is the relative. I mean, On a relative sense, we need to talk about it, comparing with some other things, whether they are better than them or not. Measurement is, the metrics are not suitable, or not sufficient enough to very clearly measure the performance. So in the non-financial performance perspectives, non-financial perspectives like customers, in internal business process, then employee satisfaction. So we see that their objective also has continuous improvement. Continuous improvement, it talks only about on a relative basis. See, what is appropriate performance? What is the best performance? How would we know? We only can talk about it on a continuous parameter. Then, when we talk about innovation, see, innovation, how are we to explain the innovation? What, how do we measure whether the innovation was appropriate or not? Likewise, see, some of the non-financial performance indicators are um, difficult to express them, difficult to measure them. Okay, so is it? I mean, what are the difficulties? These are difficulties. Difficulties in terms of not able to quantify everything. Difficult to measure certain things. Okay, so some of the examples you should be able to talk about it. First thing is too many, therefore selecting appropriate ones is one difficulty. Second one, not being able to quantify them, express in financial terms is another thing. Metrics can be measured only on a relative basis. So what is the best performance cannot be known. So that's another difficulty. Um, See, four metrics are there. One is financial. Financial always focuses on maximizing the profit. So maximizing profit happens when revenue is maximum and costs are minimum. Okay. Then profit is maximized. So profitability aspect will be taken care under financial perspective. Customer satisfaction. How does it happen? How can the customers be satisfied when value is added to them? When more services, more better services are provided to them. That does not happen easily. For that, additional costs have to be incurred. So cost increases when customer satisfaction is taken care. Customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. Employee satisfaction, they would be satisfied when better training is provided, skill enhancement is taken care of. So kind of there are various areas where we look into that. Total performance against the internal business process to take a better provide better services, more costs have to be incurred. See, it does not come just like that. See, being able to satisfy various stakeholders, um, see, satisfying is in the long run. In the long run, the business would be benefited. See, when the stakeholders are satisfied, yes, there would be. But in immediately in the current period, we only see that there is an impact which is there because of these activities on the profitability. Profit will get affected because more costs are incurred. But why are they taking it up? Because in the long run, the business will be benefited, but that would not be reflected in the current period. So here what we see is they are conflicting in nature. These perspectives are conflicting in nature. Therefore, now what has to be prioritized? Should they be looking at the other non-financial parameters, or they should be looking at the financial parameters? So conflicting in nature, perspectives are conflicting in nature. So that's another difficulty to adopt BSc in an organization and follow that. Okay. So that's it. Okay. Okay. when we so the point which you have raised, Abhishek, then Kolmog is planning a strategic change to its current business model. So now they want to give away their ownership and then just want to run the hotels. Then in that case, the CEO suggests that introducing balance scorecard is whether it is suitable or not. Then later on, he also expressed his apprehension. He's worried that whether this will be followed only as a management accounting technique, and and they being in the service industry, will it be suitable for them, appropriate for them or not? So that apprehension was also expressed by the CEO. See, we need to talk about if the CEO is not sure whether this model has to be implemented, that is another difficulty. See, it's not only about BSc. See, in an organization, the top management, the strategic level, when the management is serious about something, it can be effectively implemented. Otherwise, if they are not serious about it, no matter how serious the other levels of management are, also, it cannot be effectively implemented. So the tone is always set at the top. That is very, very important. The tone is set at the top. See, CEO, if a CEO is not sure that BSc will benefit the hotels, then in that case, that model, whether it will be effective enough or not, is a big question mark. So say the next difficulty we can mention that the commitment of the senior management, the top management, uh, if it is there, it can be effectively implemented. If it is not there, it cannot be implemented. Okay. So those points we can express them. Somewhere I wrote, very quickly, let's write it. Too many metrics makes it difficult to decide. Okay. That's 7 marks. So the last requirement, explain the purpose of setting targets which are challenging and evaluate the standards and rewards for the hotel managers performance reward system as requested by the CEO. Of course, we did not read through that paragraph also. And then I said we will do the other part of it first. So this is the last paragraph. last paragraph here it talks about, very carefully, let's follow this one. The paragraph says, the history of rewards at Kolmog has not been good with only 1% of the staff. That's a very, very small number. 1% of the staff receiving their maximum possible bonus. 75% of them have not received any staff, receiving no bonus at all. This has led to many complaints that targets set for the reward system are too challenging. Okay. Under the new performance reward system, employee targets are to be derived from the above BSc strategic measures depending on the employee's area of responsibility. The new system is for hotel managers to be given challenging targets based on their hotel's performance against budgeted profit, industry-wide staff turnover, and the company's average customer satisfaction scores. The hotel managers will then get up to 30% of their basic salary as a bonus based on the regional manager's assessment of their performance against these targets. The CEO wants you to use Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model to assess the new system. See, the present scenario of earning a reward is not very nice. See, very, very discouraging because see, overall 75% of them are not receiving any type of bonus. 25% of them are receiving. Out of that also, a very low, very low, that is 1% of them are only are receiving maximum bonus. The rest of them are not receiving bonus to the maximum percent. Why is what we have to look into. So therefore they have now changed it. The employees now will be given some targets on achieving those targets. See, the targets are in terms of hotel performance against budgeted profits, industry-wide staff turnover. So staff turnover alone is not the parameter, staff turnover in the industry. So take a comparative note about what is happening in that industry and the company's average customer satisfaction score. So these are all which will be taken into consideration to decide whether the employees have met the targets. So if they have met the targets, then in that case, 30% of their basic salary will be paid to them as bonus. But here we are asked to look into, there is one model, Fitzgerald and Moon's building blocks model. So conceptually, you should be knowing about what is that model. When there is a specific reference, in general also we can address that. But when it talks about a particular model, then we need to use certain terms that are used in that model. So that reflects that you are aware of that model, that concept, and then accordingly you will earn marks also. So this is also part of performance measurement. As part of performance measurement, how the performance would be measured. So there is a model given by Fitzgerald and Moon. They have mentioned a model where there are 3 different blocks, building blocks. The first one talks about what are the different dimensions. There are 6 different dimensions which have to be looked into to measure the performance. And then they talk about the second building block as the standards that are set. The third one is the rewards. So because this particular paragraph and this particular question is all about reward system, therefore we need to go through this model and then talk about the rewards. Then the first building block dimensions has 6 dimensions. So competitiveness and financial performance relate to the past performance, how were they in terms of these things, and in future what type of services they are planning to provide. That's the quality of services, the flexibility in terms of production and the delivery of the goods and services. How would they be utilizing the services, and what innovation are they planning to take up? So, if the performance is to be measured in the 6 areas, the 6 dimensions have to be looked into, and in each of these areas, what is their performance has to be measured. Then the second building block talks about there should be standards which are set for the employees. Standards should be there. See, one important aspect of why performance is measured is performance measurement would be connected to reward system. They will be that will be connected to rewards. Ultimately, the employees will be entitled to receive a reward. Therefore, the performance evaluation also becomes easy. See, it is one reason is that to ensure that they do not deviate from their targets. Whatever plans they have prepared, whatever targets that are set, whatever planning is taken up, the implementation is also according to that. For that reason, evaluation happens. It is just not for that reason, but evaluation should would ultimately get connected to the rewards. Employees also, see if they have achieved their targets, if they have effectively implemented their the plans that are set, then they should be recognized for that. Therefore, they would be connected to the rewards. So, for them to earn the rewards, first thing is standards should be set. So when the standards are set, there are three important aspects, concepts which have to be looked into that. See, when standards are set, they have to be practically possible to be achieved. See, anyway, when planning, strategic planning, the initial days, what we've learned, the strategic planning is based on SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses. So weaknesses are also to be considered. So when targets are set, they have to be practically possible to be achieved. That is very important. Practically possible to be achieved aspect also is very, very important. Achievability. See, when that achievability is there, see, then in that case, the employees feel motivated to implement those things and achieve their standards. If that is there, then they will take up the ownership of those standards. They feel that it is the standards which they have to achieve that. See, that taking up the ownership of the standards is very, very important. Only when they feel motivated to work, when they take up the ownership of those standards, then only they will be able to achieve the targets, effectively implement that and achieve the targets. So one aspect is ownership. See, ownership we can also connect it to the achievability. If it is achievable, then I think they feel motivated to take it up as their responsibility and implement that. Okay. See, the motivation of the employees is also very, very important to take up the standards. Third one is equity is fairness. In all fairness, the standards have to be decided. They cannot decide. Um, they cannot decide the standards. Um, just like that, and anything which is see, because the weaknesses are to be considered. So in all fairness, the standards have to be set. Equity, okay, these are three different concepts of standards. Then we have three different concepts, three concepts of rewards also. See, based on the performance measurement, the rewards are given to the employees. So first one, when rewards are announced, there should be clarity in terms of announcing the rewards. So they cannot be any kind of ambiguity there. Confusion should not be there. Clearly, it has to be mentioned. See, target should be clear. See, here in this particular case study, Kolmog, very, very low percentage of employees are now receiving bonus. Only 25%. Out of that also 1% of them are receiving maximum bonus, which means that there is every possibility that the there is some confusion. Maybe they are not able to understand the targets that are set to them very clearly. See, when can they earn a reward? Maybe they are not able to understand it clearly. That's one thing. So clarity should be there when, see, on being efficient. So how do we measure that? When can we call that the employee is efficient or effective? Something like that. Rather put it in terms of a measurable unit. So on achieving a turnover of something, on achieving a profit percentage of something, on achieving, so here they were suggesting customer satisfaction score, something like that, very clearly, precisely they have to be defined there. Otherwise that confusion will result in they not earning a reward. First thing is clarity, then the reward should be attractive, so that that reward itself is a motivating factor for them to work towards achieving that reward. The reward should be based on controllable factors. So certain factors which are not under their purview should not be included for them to have a control over them and then earn a reward. See, otherwise, also without this, also in generic sense, also we can address this particular question. But when they have very clearly mentioned about Fitzgerald and Moon's building block, some terms we have to bring about into this particular thing and express there. So the question is, explain the purpose of setting targets which are challenging and evaluate the standards and rewards for the hotel managed performance reward system as requested by CEO, has 14 marks. So let's talk about this model. Model has 3 blocks, dimensions, then standards, then rewards. So going along with this particular model, we need to elaborate that. So when can they earn the reward? When can they earn the reward? See, when they are effective. See, when they the first dimension talks about their financial performance, competitiveness, see the way they are providing services, etc. So the dimension part of it, the financial performance have to be very clearly, financial metrics have to be clearly defined, which they are now considering. So that is what we see, that the new reward system has those things. Next one, standards. So talk about the standards. One reason why in the old system they were unable to earn bonus was maybe the standards were very high. Now that the standards are clear and achievable, um, so it would be possible. So talk about what should be there. The employee should feel motivated. So the employee should take up the ownership of the standards. The standards should be um, achievable, and the standards are um, is the third one. Should be decided with all fairness. So talk about those 3 things. So maybe it was not there in the old system. Now that the new system and the standards are set, see the standards that are set based on financial metrics, then customer satisfaction score and innovation, they should be um, decided with all clarity. Achievability, then the employees also should feel motivated to take it up, take the tasks that are decided for them. And the management should also consider the factors which are not under their control. Then the targets, the bonus that is decided, here it is anyway 30% of their basic salary. So there's clarity on achieving those targets. That's one thing. See, that seems to be attractive to them. The 30% of basic is quite attractive. Then So what else? Clarity, motivation, controllable factors. Here, ownership, achievability, equity. So that's how the new system. So talk about that. Purpose of setting targets. Setting targets which are challenging is to motivate them to earn better returns. Then evaluate what actually is there in the reward system, on the old system, new system. Talk about that, and then that would be 14 marks. So stick to the model and then use the terms that are used in the model and press that. Overall, 4 marks are given for professional marks. So the format, style, structure, the way you discuss, the tone which you take, everything matters there. If it is explained, clearly explain. If it is evaluate, talk about what you are evaluating. See, some suggestions if you have to give those suggestions. Okay, of course, in this particular case study, critical analysis there is not there. Critical analysis would be in terms of you are trying to disagree with someone and persuading them to follow something. See, criticizing about something, but the tone which you take, that is also important. But of course, here it is not there. So 4 marks will be scored if you follow the format, everything mixed. Okay, that's a 50 marks case study. For us to discuss, it took more than 2 hours to only discuss because it's a discussion wise. But in the examination, see, you will have to um, do this, take up this task all by yourself. The key point of doing case studies in the examination is read the question again and again and again. There's no one to help you there. You have to take it up all by yourself. Okay. Um, so only help what you can get is from yourself only. So what can you do? You can read the question, note down whatever it is. See, the entire question, whether it is right or wrong, is not. It doesn't go in one go. Either you score 50 or you don't score 50 is not the case. There are different parts. Each part which you take it up, you will score marks for that part. So marking scheme is also very clearly given. 5 marks for differentiating between service and. So you write that answer very well, you will score 5 marks. It does not have an impact on the other questions. You do well or so whatever you know, you present it well. And the answer is very lengthy. See, bullet points may not be used. So differentiate each point by a paragraph. So differentiate what is first point, what is second point, etc. Clarity will be there for you. You can write the answer clearly, not repeating the points again and again. Okay. Scoring wise also you will be able to score marks for each valid point. You whatever marks are allotted, you will score those marks. Okay. Any doubts in this particular question? I don't know how many of you
No,
have
ma'am.
listened. Abhishek, I think only one is listening. The case is more lengthier than the answer. Of course, we wrote only bullet points only. So the entire answer would be there. Conceptual background is definitely required, but the answer, the solution is there. Conceptual knowledge will help you to better present that answer. Therefore, please read through the content also. Learn all whatever you have to learn, and then apply it there. Done. Please. Now that Abhishek said no doubt, how much time do we have? We have about 40 minutes time left. So we'll take a very small case study, which we can finish it in that particular time. And small case studies are also there for 25 marks. Some of the 25 marks case studies are also very lengthy. But right now, let me look into the list of case studies. Did we do McKinsey 7S model? Abhishek? Do you remember we doing McKinsey 7S model?
I guess yes, ma'am. We
Huh.
have done, I guess. Yes.
Okay, then let's not take it up. Some other thing. Integrated reporting. Did I do anything on
No,
integrated?
no, 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 no.
There's one question, 25 marks question on integrated reporting. TRE is a listed high street retailer that sells a range of goods such as food, drink, clothing, electrical goods, CDs, DBs, and garden equipment. At a recent board meeting, the topic of integrated reporting was raised with very mixed views in the discussion. The marketing director argued that IR was simply a mixture of sustainability report and the financial report into a single communication intended mainly for investors. As such, it had very little new to offer and was just another compliance requirement. The financial director replied that, in his view, IR would give a greater emphasis on the different types of capital within the firm and would assist in more focused performance management. A, briefly explain what is meant by integrated report and comment on the views of the marketing director. B, what are the 6 different types of capital described within the IR framework? 4 objectives of integrated reporting. Emphasis on the 6 types of capital above could result in more focused performance management. That's for 5 marks. Let's take it to the the concept of integrated reporting is financial reporting is a statutory requirement. We know that all it's mandatory that financial statements have to be disclosed, and all business concerns also do follow that. But See, there are issues with financial reporting, because only the financial information that is included in the financial reports are disclosed. There's a lot of information which is not included in the financial statement, therefore it is not disclosed. So the statutory requirement to meet that is not providing complete information to stakeholders. Stakeholders are someone who's dependent. If their interest lies with the organization, they are dependent on the organization for disclosing the information. So once the information is given, their decisions are dependent on that. So therefore, it is not sufficient that financial reporting will can take care of that. So something more also has to be provided. So some more information other than the financial reports are to be provided for the stakeholders to take better decisions. Therefore, the concept of integrated reporting. So some other information also, reports on those information, those details are prepared. Other reports, these reports are integrated with the report on financial statements, and we call that as integrated reports. So then when the reports are disclosed, stakeholders will be able to take better decisions. So that's the whole concept of integrated reporting. Then the integrated reporting, see, what are the other aspects which are to be disclosed? See, anyway, we see that the first aspect of it is financial information. See, all the details are present for the purpose of integrated reporting. They are present in the form of 6 different types of capital. 6 different types of capital. The first one is financial capital. Financial capital, anyway, the financial statements do provide those financial capital. So that information is already available. Financial aspects about the share capital, the cash balances, the reserves, etc. All those things, the financial aspects. The other types of capital, we see the next second type of capital is manufactured capital. Easy way to remember it is PPE, property, plant, equipment, all fixed assets. We have the details about the fixed assets in the financial statements, but other details like, see, the method of depreciation followed, what is the carrying value, book value of the assets after depreciation, methods which are used, is there any revaluation in terms of these assets, etc. So those details cannot be found in the financial statements. We just know overall what's the gross value, what's the net value, what's the amount of depreciation provided. Other than that, intricately the details about assets are not known from the financial statements. Third type of capital is intellectual capital. Intellectual capital, it is about the employee knowledge, one aspect. The intellectual capital is about the patents, copyrights, technical know-how, which they acquire, see, because of which the organization is benefited. So all those assets which they own, the employees' knowledge, because of that they benefit. That's one aspect of it. Apart from that, we see under intellectual capital, we have the technical know-how, the patents, the copyrights, the licenses which they acquire, all of them, because of which the organization benefits. So what, to what extent is their intellectual capital? Human capital talks about the number of employees, categories of employees, their skill levels, etc. All that comes under human capital. The relationship which they have with others talk about social and relationship capital. If they are, if they have joined with other organizations, they could be benefited. If they are in association with some other organization, the organization gets benefited. So those things all fall under social and relationship capital. Sixth one is about the natural capital. What are the resources which they are using? Renewable, non-renewable resources, and something about their sustainability plans, their effort to consume less amount of non-renewable resources, and their effort to carry it forward to the future generations. Okay, So here there was an opinion expressed that the managing director argued that IR was simply a mixture of sustainability report and the financial report. If anything to do with the environment, if they are using the resources or the organization's activities and the impact of that on the environment, generally there are certain regulations, there are certain things which are expected of the organization to comply with. So there is a compliance report also which has to be prepared. That's also mandatory there. So here the opinion of the marketing director is that the IR is all about the compliance report which they have to prepare because of the natural capital which they are using. So the regulatory bodies or the government or the regulatory bodies generally prescribe certain things for the company to follow. So that is mandatory for them to follow that. They have to comply with those things. The compliance report and the financial report is all about integrated reporting. So now the question says that what is the comment on the view of the marketing director? So you talk about simply talk about what is integrated reporting. Integrated reporting, the concept of it is integrating reports on different aspects of the organization with the report on the financial statement and provide that to the stakeholders for the benefit of the stakeholders. The stakeholders are dependent on this information to take better decisions. Marketing director's view is not appropriate. It is not about only the compliance report and the financial report, but it has something more to that. See, basic, don't elaborate much here because it's only 5 months. Second bit talks, B bit talks about 6 different types of capital. There you elaborate. Each type of capital, what would be included in that. So conceptually, you talk about it and then talk about for this particular organization TRE also. So what could be possibly included under each type of capital? Please mention that. So each six types of capital are there. 6 into 1.5 should fetch you 9 marks there. Now this is in a generic sense. The third one. What are the 4 objectives of integrated reporting? 4 objectives. Why would integrated reporting be taken up? What is the purpose behind that? So if we think about it, what do you think are the 4 objectives of integrated reporting? Why, in the first place, why is there a need for integrated reporting? If we can answer that, I think we can answer this one also. Why do you think, is it necessary for integrated reporting to be taken up? Who would be benefited if integrated reports are provided? Stakeholders would be benefited. Stakeholders would be benefited. In what way? They will be able to take better decisions. For them to take better decisions, better information, more information, detailed information has to be provided. So we can talk about for the benefit. The objective is to provide benefit to the stakeholders in terms of providing information for better decisions. Anything else? Providing information. 4, we need to now talk about 4 objectives. Then we can talk about reporting. So better reporting can be taken up. Okay. That's why see the companies when they provide, when they disclose their details, the annual reports which they prepare and they provide, they have many more details than the financial statement. So, see, better reporting from the organization side. So, better reporting, that could be second thing. Um, First one we talked about providing better information, better reporting from the organization point of view, better decisions can be taken. Fourth objective of any point which can add. The finance director replied that in his view, IR would give a greater emphasis on the different types of capital within the firm and would assist in more focused performance management. So more focused performance management, that can be taken as fourth one. More focused performance management, better performance management can be taken up. Okay. See, the management of any organization is accountable to the stakeholders. The way they run the organization is for the benefit of the stakeholders. Primary benefit is to the shareholders, but they are also accountable to different stakeholders. Since integrated reporting is more about providing information to the stakeholders for better decision making. Therefore, here we need to talk about the integrated reports are a way to measure the performance of the management. So better performance management to measure the performance and a metric which is used to measure the performance of the management. So we can talk about those things as four objectives. So first we can talk about better information can be provided or in detail information can be provided. Second one, we can talk about it as better reporting from the management side, focused performance management. Then we see that better decisions can be taken by the stakeholders. 6 marks. D. Explain how an emphasis on the 6 types of capital above could result in more focused performance management. So very specifically now that the details are presented in the form of 6 different types of capital. Now, using those 6 different types of capital, we explain how an emphasis on these 6 types of capital above could result in more focused performance management. How can performance be measured? So we come down to that point. The paper itself is performance management, advanced performance management. Every area gets connected to performance measurement. Here also, it is about how is it possible that they can have more focused performance management. How is performance measured? Coming down to that point. How can we measure performance? Performance can be measured when we identify the CSFs and we measure the CSFs with the help of KPIs. So that's how performance is measured. See, previous Kolmog hotels also, how is the performance measured with the performance metrics that were used. So here also we can talk about for each of these 6 different types of capitals, because it is very specifically given about 6 types of capital. For each of these 6 different types of capital, we need to identify what would be the different areas are identified. In each of these areas, how can the performance be measured? So decide on the performance metrics, decide on the KPIs, and then measure the performance. Okay. Um, That's something. Focused performance. So when there are performance metrics used, performance can be measured. Accountability can be brought into picture. The accountability of the management towards to the different stakeholder groups. Better control can be there. More details can be provided. Full disclosure is possible. Transparency is possible. See, overall, it would be catering to the benefit of all types of stakeholders. So it's for the benefit of all the beneficiaries. Integrated reporting is useful. So just talk about that. It's 5 marks. Question is very small. Requirements are also not very lengthy. See, we think that's such a nice thing if such questions come, but they are highly risky. If you are not aware of a topic called as integrated reporting, so the syllabus is vast, all of you agree. If one question is focused only on one topic, you don't know that topic, you lose those marks completely. That's why such small questions or topic focused questions are attractive, are also very risky. Okay, so that is one aspect what we have to remember here. Express that in the best possible manner and score marks. Okay, I have not written any answer. We just discussed. I hope you followed that. Talk about the meaning of integrated reporting in the first thing, and don't go in detail in that first thing, because there are all the questions are about reporting only, integrated reporting only. So everything you write it in the first point, then you will not have any content to write in the other points. So just very briefly talk about the concept of integrated reporting. Whether you agree with the opinions or the comments of the marketing director, you be clear about your opinion. It is not about compliance report and the report on financial statement, but it is more to integrated reporting. Then what are the 6 different types of capitals? Explain them in detail. Then objectives of integrated reporting: information providing, better information, better reporting, accountability, better decision making. Emphasis on how these things could result in more focused on performance management, because performance would be better measured with the help of performance metrics. Then accountability comes into picture, transparency would be there, full disclosure will become possible. So all this is there, better decisions by the stakeholders also is possible. So that's how you present that, and then you score 25 marks. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Next week when we meet, any topic which you want me to do, if you have any, otherwise I will go in my style, I will only decide what's the topic. But if you have any specific topic which you want me to do it first, then I will take it up first. Okay, depending on the availability of time, as many as we can do, we will keep on solving.
Okay, ma'am.
Anything, any topic which you have, want me to take it up next? How many others? 1, 2, 3, 4. Apart from the ones who are there in the participants list, Sonita is also there, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Sunita and Mohan.
Mohan. Yeah. Take a photo. I'm planning to do one question on performance measurement and one question on transfer pricing. After that, then we can do, because there are many modern accounting techniques, and then focusing on quality. We have Six Sigma, we have Kaizen, we have TQM. Multiple things are the cost of quality. First, we will finish off with the performance related things, performance measurement and transfer pricing. That's also one very important area. After that, slowly we'll add on the other topics also, and then take up case studies. Okay, there's no
Okay.
doubt. Shall we end up the class here?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're there, Afshan, listening to class.
Ma'am.
Physically present, mentally absent, I thought.
No, ma'am, I'm here only.
Okay. Okay. Good day then. I'll meet you tomorrow for MRB class.